Okay. We're live. Sorry I'm late this morning. I was up after 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just trying to get it together this morning. I realized the last minute before I started to go live, I don't have the microphone on. I don't have anything set up on it. I'm like, geez, get it together, girl, this morning. Okay. Hey, Judith, good morning. Sorry I'm late. Just trying to get my coffee, trying to get awake, and it's 11 o'clock, and I'm like, geez, I stayed up way too late. I was up till after 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm just like exhausted or whatever. How you doing this morning? You bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, or you just bright-eyed? Oh. Okay, we're gonna do, I'm gonna do the, I was told last night that there's like a 2-minute delay between what I say. Thank you. I'm trying really, really hard. But y'all gotta deal with it. You know, I'm what, how old am I now? 66, I think. I can't even remember how old I am. I'll be 67 this year, I think. Let me check that out. I don't want to tell you something wrong. Yes, it will be. What is this, 2025? Yeah, I'll be 67 this year. All my aches and pains and hip areas, and I went to the doctor about my and spoke to him about had him do a hormone check on me, and he said yeah, I'll be 67. So I had him do a hormone check on me, and I had went through the change of life back in my 50s, and so it's, you know, I'm like late 50s, I think I was at that time. And so when he did a hormone check on me, he said that I have that of like a woman that's going through the change of life. I said, going through it, I done been through it. And so usually when a woman goes through the change of life, and afterwards, you know, you have a lot of that stuff with your bones. And so I'm having a lot of issues with the hips, especially on my left side. And he said, you know, we can try this, we can try that. And I don't want to go back through any more surgeries. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm fighting this thing of having a hip replacement or hip something, whatever. You know, I'll try therapy, and right now he's got me on what is that? Citrical? Yeah, taking it twice a day. I tried it on the bottle. It says take it 4 times a day. And I'm like, geez. And I tried taking it, you know, 3 times a day, but that it makes me sick to my stomach. I guess because I'm so short and I'm small. But anyway, I'll try anything, that and Tylenol and whatever else to get through. You know, I'm having those issues with things. So, you know, you get old, things happen, you know, and things in life happen. So what can I say? But anyway, I want to get into the astrology part for the week of first week. But I do want to discuss what's going on right now. But I want to give you some information before I began you know, I'm all about kind of teaching and learning and all that. So, but I want to give you some information here that I think will kind of really be helpful. First of all, I want to talk about planets out of bounds. You hear a lot about declination, and this is when they say something about declination, it's when they're talking about planets that are out of bounds. And when planets who are in that declination, it's an angular distance north or south of the celestial equator, and it exceeds that of the ecliptic current, which is current about 23.5 degrees. So anytime a planet goes 23.5 degrees, it's out of bounds. And so when we talk about that with the eclipse is the path of the sun that appears to take across the sky over the course of a year. And that is called Obliquity. And with my southern accent, I have sometimes hard to pronounce words. Obliquity or something like that refers to the angle between the Earth's axis and its orbit plane around the sun. The declination is the angular degrees of a celestial object north to south of the celestial equator, which is the projection of the Earth's equator into the sky. When it says out of bounds planet, it's planets orbiting the sun on the ecliptic can sometimes have a declination greater than the obliquity of the eclipse, meaning they are out of bounds. Astrology interpretation. In astrology, out-of-bound planets are often seen as representing a planet's energy that is beyond the usual boundaries of the zodiac, potentially leading to unconventional or even challenging expressions of that planet. And this talks about, with this out of bounds, how that it all boils down to is that when a planet does go into those out of bounds, it can also be negatively expressed, leading to abnormal or unstable behavior, which is outside the accepted standards of society. Its energy can indicate a tendency toward mental imbalance, or at the very least, create a lot of pressure and stress in an individual's lives. So all that stuff I just read to you, that's basically what that means when a planet goes out of bounds. Now, talking about planets going out of bounds, right at this point on the 27th of March, which we're fixing to go into we already had a lunar eclipse. Now we're fixing to have a solar eclipse on the 29th, and that's partial. But we're dealing with planets that are out of bounds, and I'll show you those out of bounds planets. Now, but I will say it's Venus, it's Saturn, it's Uranus, it's Neptune, and it's the north and south nodes. So remember the nodes, I use the mid. I don't use the true, I use the mid, because I use those because I like to use them because it deals with people's lives. And especially when you're talking about planets being out of bound. They can be way off. But I use the north and south node, and these are like, the north node is about the future, and it's also known as the head of the dragon, okay? And it's usually called Rahu in Vedic astrology. And it represents our worldly desires, our ambitions, our obsessions, our drive for new experiences. And it's often associated with areas where a person might push boundaries. Now, get this, push boundaries. And I just told you about out-of-bound planets. And they may push the boundaries or seek external validation, okay? And we're also supposed to go there toward that north node because it's representation of the future, where your head is. And then the K2, which is the dragon's tail, that's the south node, represents spiritual seeking, detachment, letting go of old patterns, and a focus on inner transformation. Can signify areas where a person might experience sudden endings or need to release something from their lives. So keep these in mind when I'm going through the astrology. And like I said, I use the mid because it of the nodes because it represents things in people's lives. The north node, also I want to say the north node is the location of the exact moment in time. The moon's connection with the eclipses. Now we done had the lunar and we're fixing to have the solar. And the mid-north node is a symbol of an individual's life path. Is personal growth and karmic lessons that we have to learn for the future. Don't repeat those same karmic lessons. Like I was saying with the readings yesterday or the past 3 days. Whatever you put out there, it's going to come back to you. So remember that. Don't create bad karma in your life because it will definitely come back in the same way you put it out there. Also, what I want to discuss is the midheaven. The midheaven is very, very important. Now, the midheaven is, you'll see it on an astrology chart as an MC. That's called the midheaven. That's the highest point in your chart, okay? And when you're born. And this is very important because it's often known as the medium coastline or something, or just the MC is the best way to do it. Is different than other aspects in your chart because it's not really a planet. It's not a planet. It's the highest point at the top of your chart. And it represents the southernmost high point above the horizon at the time of your birth. So when you get if you get a chart, make sure it's got the midheaven in it. Make sure it's got the part or lot of fortune. You know, I mean, you can have other things in there. And the north and south nodes, those are important as well. But this one is really important with this midheaven. And I use these in my chart because I want you to see where they're at and what's happening. But like I said, it's the highest point at the top of your chart. And it represents the southernmost high point above the horizon at the time of your birth. Now remember, this is not a planet. The midheaven is also the cusp of the 10th house of social status, usually associated with Capricorn. Because if you're looking at just Aries being the first house and Capricorn being the 10th house, your 10th house may be different, okay? But it's associated with that 10th house of social status of the natal chart and can tell you a lot about your public life. Remember, the first house is the mask we wear, what we would present to society, what we want society to see. Your midheaven sign is sometimes conflated with your rising sign. This is wrong. Rising sign is not the same as the midheaven, as they're both outward expressions of your persona, but they can actually quite different. While your ascendant or rising, because see, that's another thing, people will say the ascendant or the rising, okay? But it's often confused with the midheaven, because they'll say with the ascending is what you also display out there, or with the rising. And that's why it gets kind of confused there. But the midheaven sign is sometimes conflated with the rising sign, as they both are outward expressions of your persona, but they're actually quite different. While you're ascending, and I'm going to get these clarified now. While your ascendant and your rising shows the mask you wear for the world and how others perceive you, your midheaven, get this now, your midheaven relates more directly to your career, your public life, and your reputation. It points toward the outward expression of your individuality. So that's the difference. Now, that's why the ascendant and the rising always gets confused with the midheaven, but it's different in that respect. Also, what I use as extra is the part of fortune or the lot of fortune. Now, this is important as well in your chart, very important. The part of fortune, or the lot of fortune, is a point in an astrological chart that is calculated based on the position of the sun, the moon, and the ascendant. It's not a planet, just like the midheaven. It's not a planet, okay? But rather a mathematical point that represents the intersection of those three, the sun, the moon, and the ascendant. The part of fortune, or the lot of fortune, is said to symbolize the areas of life where one can find happiness, success, and fulfillment. And this may be different during your life, wherever it may be at that moment in time, because it's kind of connected with that ascendant. They stay a particular distance of each other, usually about 90 degrees. They stay apart, but at that moment in time, wherever it may lie, and you'll see it in my chart as a little, no, they're a little bit close. They can be closer. I was thinking of the midheaven. The ascendant in the midheaven is what stays about 90 degrees apart. The lot of fortune can stay close to either one of them. But it's the one that looks like a circle with an X in the center, and you'll see it on my chart. But the part of fortune is said to symbolize the area where you can find your happiness, your success, and fulfillment. And these can be different at certain times where they are. Like right now, it's sitting in Aries, okay? And what's fixing to happen in Aries, and the ascending is there close to it. And Mercury's there as well. So you've got Mercury, the ascending, the lot of fortune or part of fortune. You've got the moon, and you've got the sun on the 29th. All of those are there. So this is where you have that, you can have with Aries, which is ruled by Mars. Mars is sitting still over in Cancer. And it will be still somewhat during that other time, but the moon is conjunct with that lot of fortune, that you can get that fulfillment emotionally and happiness. And it can also deal with when it comes to that spiritual part of your life, which it happens to deal with the South Node, releasing things that need to be released. I don't mess too much with the vortex. And there's something about the vortex that can be very difficult. But I'll check into it, Lilith, and I'll find out more information for you. And that fulfillment, its placement in a person's chart is believed to indicate where they can experience a sense of abundance and well-being. Astrologers interpret the part of fortune or the lot of fortune in relationship to an individual's natal chart to provide insight into the area of life that may bring them joy and prosperity. Hey, Leather, good to see you. Good morning. I had to have some coffee. Keep in mind that astrology is a belief system and interpretation. Let me get some water. I think I've got a lot of congestion in me right now, and I get choked on it. Belief system, keep in mind that the astrology is a belief system and interpretations are subject. So I just wanted to go over those things, and there's two other important things that I use. I use the meaning, I use Vista as well, and I also use Lilith. And I'll go over those two, and I'm just doing these before I get in and bringing the chart up. Vista is the keeper of your spiritual flame. So anytime you see it on there, it looks like an eternal flame or a pit or a torch. It has like a V in, also in the middle, and it has like little arms out and it has like a little flame coming out. I'll show it to you, the icon of it, but it represents your spiritual flame. And it's the sacred feminine creative energy that allows you to dedicate to aspirations, plans, and goals. Vista shows where you have a nun-like devotion to a cause, a project, a person, or a belief that's sacred to you. So this, when it gets in this area, right now it's sitting in Scorpio and it's retrograde, so it's reevaluating your goals. You should maybe take this time. Am I really dedicated to this? Let's say you're in a relationship and you may feel like you're dedicated to it, but the other person isn't. Maybe you need to look at this relationship and say, maybe this is not going the way I planned it to go, or I had high hopes and goals that maybe something here could do, but it's nothing wrong with the person or nothing wrong with you. It's just there's something there that doesn't connect in some way. So this is where you would all of a sudden start to review, reassess, reconcile those things, or maybe restructure the plans or your devotion to it. Or is this goal, is whatever it is it worth it? Maybe that's something too you might have to let go of. And now it's pretty close because it's in Scorpio and it's going back to the beginning of Scorpio. I don't know what degrees it's going back to right now, but Lilith is coming into Scorpio and it's there now. It's at 0 degrees. It just entered 16 minutes ago or something like that. At this point in time, because I'm starting with this March 29th when the chart I'm looking at is because we're going to have that solar eclipse in Aries on this new moon. And then 6 months later, we'll have another one. So it's time now. This is it. During eclipses, it's time to eclipse things and really reevaluate your goals, your plans, whatever it may be. All this is telling, are you happy in your life right now? Is this the way things want to go? If it's not, then it's time for you to reevaluate your life. It's time to look at things. What needs to change? How devoted are you really to something? Then I use Lilith, because Lilith, and I use the mid-Lilith. It has a feminine condemnation to it, just as sort of, Vista doesn't really have a feminine energy to it, but it's kind of feminine. But it can have it's a spiritual thing with Vista. When it comes to that dedication to things. Lilith is considered feminine. She's connected to your inner shadow, but also the areas where you put your foot down. You set those boundaries. You may even express anger. Lilith also relates to your inner authority and your sensuality and your sexuality, as well as how you choose or you don't choose to go against the grain and defy the norms. Defying the norms is just openly resist or refuse to obey. It's sort of a woman who defies the convention of what society places her as. And if you have a Sigma female, which is Sigma, you can look it up, or a Sigma male, if you are one of those, there's not too many of them. They're very rare. And so if you have one of those in your life, you better hang on to it, because they can be not really a bad person, but they're able to be independent of, or they can even work in places where they're working with other people, but they can work very well by themselves as well. And they don't mind being alone. Don't misinterpret Alpha and Sigma. Sigma's much more higher. And like I said, you not often find them. It takes years of life and struggles and change and transformation to become and life's experience that somebody can end up that way. And I think I've been that way ever since childhood because I spent a lot of time alone as a child. And it was okay with me. You know, I could read a book, be in my room, studying in my room. Had very few small friends, and most Sigmas don't have a lot of friends because they can isolate themselves. They just don't go with the norm of society. Like your friends will say, hey, let's go do this. And a Sigma will say, no, I don't think so. Not in the mood. Or it's not something I want. But this, now, you know, an alpha is like I said, an alpha is one that kind of leads the pack. But it has some things to Sigma, but Sigma is totally different. MJ, that is your rising Scorpio. I don't know. Now this March is going to be 9 degrees exactly on the nose. On this solar eclipse. 9 to me, it means spiritual, Holy Spirit. If you look at the because I look at those numbers, especially when it comes to those things and the meanings of them. Because when I really started doing it, I noticed the thing of, you know, it always says in scripture that watch the signs that are in heaven, the universe, you know, the watch, but it calls it heaven. That we're always shown, we're always given warnings of what is to come. And we're taught that in our faith and our religion. So I noticed that with the astrology, it goes from 0 to 29. And if you used 1, then that's the degree that it moves. But when it enters, it's always 0. But it's still 30 degrees. And 30 degrees is known as departure. So I look at the planets that we're given a message, a warning of what is to come. And on a certain day, a certain time, and it's different for everybody in their own lives. That's why sometimes we just have to wait for the blessings that come in. And to me, Jupiter, even though it's a representation, they call it luck and expansion. I look at it as blessings and rewards. But Jupiter and Saturn being that of responsibility and discipline, they're also known as the 2 social planets because they influence societal structures and how we relate to the world at large. Again, it's talking about like our first house, our appearance, our physical appearance and our self-awareness of who we are, but yet we still kind of wear the mask of what we want society to see of us. A lot of people don't want the ugly side seen. And then there's a lot of people who just don't give a crap and they will show you everything. And they don't hide anything. I mean, it's like I can get angry, I can get mad, but I wouldn't want people to see that side of me. Don't push me to that point. And my mother was the same way. Don't push me to where I'm that angry. She used to tell that to my father. I used to hear her tell that to my father all the time. Let's go over into the astrology right now and look at things. Okay, I've got the little check marks. You see these little red marks out here? But what it's showing here right now, let's go over this with the moon. Now remember, these two, the sun and the moon, we're having this solar eclipse, and it's also the new moon. But they're joined energy, these two illuminators. Illumination is what it is, bringing something out that maybe needs to be seen. to maybe to just us. It needs to be, it's an awareness that, you know, it's off like, well, I didn't know that until all of a sudden I saw it. Well, illumination is that you see something that makes you aware of something. Now, these two, with the sun and the moon combined like that, it is in conjunction with this lot of fortune, that part of fortune I was telling you about, where there can be fulfillment and happiness to come into union with the Holy Spirit. That's, you know, that's exciting. That is exciting to be that, to have that. And then these two are also in conjunction with Mercury. Mercury being retrograde. What is Mercury? Mercury is the mind. It's how we think. It's how we communicate. It's like the Holy Spirit saying, time to wake up. I live within you. I am your messenger. And what is Mercury? Mercury is a messenger. Go look at the Greek mythology. I don't remember the little guy's name that would go around giving the message. I can't remember what they called him. But it is where we think, we receive information, we put information out, we gather data and all this stuff. And it's like it's all connected, that if you can wake up to your spiritual side and wake up to that messenger of the Holy Spirit, your messenger between you and the divine Himself, that it's going to be fulfillment in your life and blessings all around. I mean, it's like, it's an uplifting thing. And so there's communication. You can communicate now. Whatever it may be that you need to put out there to the Spirit, in your prayers and your messages in your life every day. Sometimes, you know, I would always just kind of go around right here in my house as I'm doing things and saying, Lord, I just don't know. I can't deal with this mess no more. I'm tired. I get, you know, and it's like that old thing, you know, where, you know, you're talking about the footprints in the sand. And this is where the divine picks you up and carries you through it. But you've got to release it and surrender it, whatever it may be that is so heavy on you, because that is not where the fulfillment lies. That's not where the happiness lies. For you to live in struggle and turmoil and chaos and these sort of things. That's why I said, when you get with these people that are so dark in their shadow and who they are, and they show you everything about them, how evil they can be, how ignorant they can be, or misled or misguided they can be, because that is a part of ignorance, is not allowing yourself to use your own mind and wake up to what there is out there. So this is the ecliptial time, and it's going to come again in September. Now, this, and I was always taught that with the lunar eclipse, this has to do with Israel, the Jewish people. The sun eclipses had to do with the Christians, and that was something that. And maybe that's why they're sown into the tree of life together. They both believe in that faith of a divine. And we need to follow in that path, because that's where your fulfillment lies. That's where your happiness lies. And I often said way back when, you know, I was doing this, is that, hey, we need to forget about this outside the world. Sure, there's a lot of lovely things that everybody would like to have. Sure, there's this and that. And don't place your life on money. That's, you know, money's like the root of evil. Remember in the old days, it was a bartering thing. You've trade. You give me this, I give you that. People lived a lot happier lives. All your needs can be met. Those that are struggling the most, they're not releasing the baggage. They're not releasing the chaos. They're not releasing the struggles. They're clinging on to it thinking, I can do it all. And there was a point, and some of you know this, many years back, when I was going through the worst time of my life, because I've experienced a lot of things in my life. I mean, a lot. I should probably write a book on it, but of what one person can endure. But I never really felt alone during all that time. But this was a part of my life that was the worst part of my life. And finally, I had to surrender. Because I always thought, I'll handle it. I'll do it. Anybody ask me anything? Sure, I'll get it. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And I just got to where I couldn't do it anymore. And then I had to be very cautious on who I relied on. If you're gonna speak for me, then you need to know me and what my values are. And believe you me, boy, when somebody went against my values and thinking they're speaking for me, better believe I'd shut them down real quick. And I'd get them out of my life. I had fired lawyers. I had just said, I've had enough. And sometimes you just got to do that. So don't carry that mess, that garbage. Change the way you think. Right now, this Mercury is retrograde. And I'm going to tell you about when I said something about the out of bounds. You've got Venus out of bounds. Venus is at 28 degrees. What did I say the degree was for a planet on the ecliptical? 23.5 degrees. It is 28 degrees. She's really out of bounds. Remember, she's going, every time Venus goes retrograde, she falls from the heavens and she goes into the underworld. Where supposedly in the Greek mythology, her sister's there. And she even will sacrifice her child. She'll sacrifice money. She'll valuable things she has. She'll surrender them, let them go. Just so she can come up and begin to be the morning star and start ascending to be the evening star. I used to love it, and it made a lot of sense to me now after, I've learned what I've learned, is that when I used to drive and I'd be out like 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and I could see that bright, bright star. That was Venus. She was the morning star. She was just coming out of her retrograde. And then when I would go out in the evening, sometimes driving in the evening, and there would be no stars, but there'd be this one bright star, that would be Venus. She was the evening star. She ascends up, and then she goes behind the sun, and when she goes behind the sun, and she goes retrograde, and she goes retrograde every 500 and some days. I can't remember the exact how many days, but she goes retrograde. She's not very often she does, because she's that movement to rising to the evening star from the morning star. Hey Jen, so glad you're here. My three favorite ladies. I love it. I love it. Okay, so like I said, Venus is out of bounds. And what happens when I say when a planet is out of bounds? It goes to the extreme. Means that she right now will surrender everything. She'll spend money. She'll take whatever value, because Taurus is, again, that thing of money, where you get your money from. She'll give money. She'll give valuables, property, all this other stuff. She will surrender to come out of the underworld, to become that morning star, to be recognized again, to be the evening star. She'll even surrender a child, her own child. Go read the Greek mythology about her. She's known, has very many different names. And believe you me, the Jews know about her as well, but they've got a lot of different names on her as well. So she is really, 23 degrees, 0.5, and she's at 28. Watch your P's and Q's. Watch who you deal with, especially when it deals with Taurus and especially when it deals with Libra, because she rules both of these signs. And sometimes their behavior can seem so out of whack of what they're doing. And so when I look at it, I'm like, okay, I know what's wrong with my Libra. And also I've got Libra as my north node. So that's my future. And I will push to get where I want to be in the future. So, and I will surrender things to get there, to what my goal is, to what I'm dedicated. That's Lilith. Or I'm sorry, that's Vista, my spiritual devotion I have. I will push it to the limits. But I'm not out to do anything. I'll hurt myself before I hurt anybody else, unless you piss me off, okay? So she's out of bounds, and she's retrograde, and Mercury's retrograde. But Mercury right now has just entered into Aries, or it's at that last degrees, and it's going to enter back into Pisces. And it's coming out of Aries, going back into Pisces. Now, also, got to say, one more thing is that Venus, what was I going to say? Oh, Lord. It was right there on the tip of my tongue. Oh, she's exalted right now. The sun is exalted in Aries. Why? Because Aries is a fire sign. So it fuels it. And I hope y'all have checked out that Stefan, Stefan Burns, about what's going on with the sun right now. It will explain a lot of stuff in the weather and our behaviors and what's going on. But the sun is exalted right now. Mars is in a fall. Jupiter is in detriment. And Neptune is exalted. Now, Venus being in that area of Pisces. Now, remember, the moon is related to Pisces as well, because it's often referred to, Pisces often referred to as the undertow, where you're pulled down into the emotions. You go into that shadow part of your emotions. And Venus is retrograde. And Venus is exalted in Pisces. And she's going into the undertow. Wow. She's at her most powerful to influence. Now, a lot of Jews interpret it, like I said, they have a lot of names for Venus. A lot of names. But they also believe she can be very, very evil. So all this thing about, when y'all been hearing about people in this transgender and changing their sexes and all this stuff, Venus, she's been influencing. I mean, there's a history with her with them and what she does and how she misleads men and misguides them and traps them into that undertow when she's there. And she is very, very exalted and at her most highest level to perfection. And she's in the underworld right now. She's in the undertow. She will cry, she will beg, she will plead, she will do all these things to get what she wants. And what does she want more than anything? She wants her way. And she'll sacrifice anything. She'll sacrifice her love, her happiness, everything to get what she wants. to influence. Now, with Mars being in a fall, but it's at 22 degrees, and the only reason I haven't said, okay, it's in out of bounds is it's getting close to it. Let's put it that way. I mean, it may have been out of bounds at the time when it was retrograde, when it was in Leo and moving back into Cancer. Because it was, let's see, let me go back. Yeah. Mars had been in its retrograde back in well, that would have been, it went retrograde in 2024. And so it has spent all this time in retrograde until February. So, and now, the only reason, like I said, it was probably out of bounds at some point. All this fighting, all this cutting, all these words. Remember the sword? Mars is the fighter. It's the warrior. It's very aggressive. It initiates things. So there could have been a lot of that stuff when it was out of bounds during its retrograde. But it's at 22 degrees, 47 minutes. So it's right on the thing where it's probably, but it's in a fall. So let's say why it was in Mars. It was initiating things, and it was wanting to fight, and it was wanting to cut things, and it was wanting to just battle. And probably, a lot of people ran into those people, where, hey, you need to back off. Because you're not going to get nowhere with that. Anytime you try to attack somebody and ridicule them and make them angry or use those cutting words, what happens later? You didn't get what you wanted. The person's not going to help you. So now it's coming back. And it's going to be heading back in to Cancer. And like I said, it's at 22 degrees right now. So YouTube is not receiving enough. Is my channel, is it buffering? You guys? Come on. Yeah. Okay, now it's reconnected. It was fixing to end, but it reconnected. Like I said, a lot of that has to deal with the cables issues. Yeah, because it was saying YouTube was saying, well, we're not getting enough data on your video. Yeah, it's YouTube. I mean, I'm on coax. I mean, from my house out to the road is regular, cable. But when it goes out to the road, it's all coax. So and I've got high speed data. So I don't understand that, why it's a problem. Because sometimes it's like, boom, boom, boom. And then, like I said, we've got this solar flares coming out, and Mercury's retrograde. See, Mercury's retrograde when we got this big sunspot that's putting out all this plasma, that's the energy that we're dealing with. And so, got to deal with it. Unless, got to shut it down. I'm probably not the only one on YouTube that's dealing with this. No, another guy that's a podcaster, he's having to deal with things like that. Where is my? Hold on one second. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I had to get me some tissue. My nose was dribbling. I'm sure that wouldn't be a pretty sight. Okay, now back to business. Now we've got like I said, Jupiter's in its detriment, but the other ones that are out of bound, we have Venus, we have Saturn, we have Uranus, we have Neptune, which is in its rulership, and we also have the North and South Node at 26 degrees. They're out of bounds. Neptune is at 29 degrees. That's way out of bounds. That's 6 degrees really out of bounds. So that's really like something coming in and just sucking you down. It's like somebody pull the plug and the bathroom drain water, and you're just going down into that undertow. So don't, like I said, I mean, if you watch the news and you see what's going on in this crazy world, and people acting really insane and doing things that are just not natural to get attention, that's what you call somebody going out of bounds and going to the extreme of doing something. Like in Sherry, you live in Texas. I mean, you got that girl, that Congress girl, something, I don't know what her name is, calling Greg Abbott, Governor Hot Wheels, and this sort of thing. What? Why would people do this stuff? We got people that are burning Tesla cars. Again, out of bounds, not thinking, being influenced with Venus, getting people to do things her bidding of what she wants done. She's sometimes good and it's wonderful when she can come out there and be that morning star and be that evening star. But when she's in the undertow and shadows, she's a bitch. She's evil. And I notice it in my Libra that I live with and have lived with for many years. He can be that way. And I'm like, who licked the red off of your damn candy? And then I just let him go. I'm like, okay, fine. You ain't got to talk to me. I can go talk to myself. I can go talk to my friends. So, I mean, and Venus being there in with Neptune in Pisces. Wow, really? I mean, she can be at her most evil right now. She's in conjunct with Saturn, which is often known as the father, I mean, she's playing on society really hard. I mean, we've got Saturn, we've got the North Node, we've got Venus, we've got Neptune, we've got Mercury now that's moving back in there. All that's in there in Pisces. That's a lot of clutter down there in there. And it's wreaking havoc, Until this, that's why I said it's going to be difficult. And you've got this solar eclipse, and it's like, y'all need to cut this crap out. It's not healthy. It's not right. That's why I said, don't be surprised if you see some things of spiritual running amok. Because this solar eclipse is right there in Aries, and Mars is moving direct now. So expect things to get a little wild. There's a heavenly battle that we're all having to deal with. Good versus evil. Always been in this world. Ever since man was created. Jealousy. Man and woman created, there's been jealousy. There's been a division in heaven. I'm sure you've all heard of the fallen angels. So there's influences around that all. And that's why I said, always say that, you know, look at the signs. There's warnings. Something's going to be eclipsed. There's going to be a message that's going to be sent out to awaken everybody to what the heck are you doing? That was not the divine's intention. So, do what you got to do, I guess. You know, and with the nodes being at 26 degrees on this eclipse as well, it's going to be the hand of God moving in this. Because that's what 26 represents, is the hand of God himself. You can be on the winning side, or you can be on the losing side. Totally up to you. So, I'm just looking at here. I've got Venus highlighted because I wanted to see what she's aspecting. And what did I say? I talked about that. See, all this clutter is all right here. It's like a traffic jam. Oh, dadgummit. That thing has moved on me. Behave yourself. I guess I must have moved too close and it just got stuck there. Anyway. Go back to bed. So right now, Venus, with all that energy combined, is in a square to the midheaven. And what I say about the midheaven, it's the highest point in your chart. It's about people's reputations. It's about challenges. It's struggles, blockages. And what is it also? It's in opposition to the South Node. Remember the tail of the dragon. Something has to be released. And the sextile is over to Uranus, which is also out of bounds. They are trying to, leaders, I would say, especially when it deals with Saturn, okay? Saturn is about our leaders. It's also representing the old generation, where Uranus represents the new generation. And don't tell me they're not trying to start some kind of revolution. They're taking these people and they're influencing the younger generation. I mean, we've been going through this battle and y'all haven't seen it? That they're getting the younger generation to come and be an uprise? What are you doing? You're idiots. I don't know why there's such this thing to hate the country you live in. I just don't get it. I really just do not get it. And it's almost like with that sextile is saying, hey, here's an opportunity to do this and do. And what gets me is the representatives that our leaders that represent us do this. Why, if that's what you want to do, why don't you go do it? Because they don't want to sit in jail. So they get these little nimrods, little nutheads. I mean, I've never seen, like I said, I'll be 67 and I have never, ever seen anything like I'm seeing now, except during well, I got to take that back, because during the Vietnam War, I mean, it was pretty bad how people were treated when they came home. And what was happening on the college campuses. Students were being shot. Until it was finally, they got smart and said, hey, we're going to have a revolution of love and peace. So, I don't know. I just don't like seeing the younger generation used as a weapon. I see these kids on colleges' campuses their minds are so warped. And it makes me wonder, where in the hell are their parents? Because they can't be paying for this on their own. These kids can't, not these colleges. And myself as a parent, if my child was doing that, oh my God, I'd be on that college campus jerking them by the hair of the head and snatching them out of there and letting them know, you want to live like this? Fine. You pay your own way, but you will never get another dime from me. I didn't raise you to act like an animal. And that's what a lot of these are doing. They're acting like animals. So this is all expected. It's showing it. And so as we go on, you can see that Mercury is in a quincunx with Lilith. Today, on the 29th during this, it's going to be a tough time. Poor little old Mercury. Oh, come on now. Oh, come on. It's not showing all the... Hold on a second. Let's see. Nope, wrong one. Oh, there he is. Okay. I have to always, sometimes I forget to go in there and change that too when I start back up. But you can see it's in a quincunx. And look at all this energy that's being fed into Mercury. And Mercury hasn't even got into Pisces yet. Right now. But it's going back in there. And look at Venus now at 28 degrees. And remember what I said about Lilith? Taking a stand. It's like playing that tug of war that nobody's given an inch. Somebody is just standing their ground. And I see the women on college campus, and I'm like, what? What is wrong with you? Don't know who they are and don't know what they are and all this crap. Please. Who are these parents? That's what I want to know. Who are these parents? Where are they? Are you actually agreeing with what your children are doing? Do you even know what they're doing? Do you even care? And look at the sextile. The sextile right here. This energy with Mercury. Combining all this energy going into it. What's being fed to us. The information that we're getting. All this stuff. And then it's sextiling Pluto. And what is Pluto? We all know what Pluto is, what it represents. Transformation and power. It's time to take the power back. The adults have to step up into the room and say enough. That's what it is about raising kids. They want to act up, then they have to be disciplined. I don't care how old you are. My dad always told me, you out there doing what you ain't got no business doing, I'll come get you. I don't care how old you are. Judge, you better hope the judge gets you before I do. I mean, that's the way I was raised. And believe you me, my dad went after my sister one night because somebody told him something that wasn't true. He went looking for her. I'm telling you, parents have got to take control back. Yes, pay the consequences of their actions. And believe you me, it's going to affect what they're doing right now is going to affect their futures in their careers, in their reputation. Look what Jane Fonda did during the Vietnam War, how she concluded, colluded with the enemy against the soldiers. Oh, she was the most hated woman in America, but she thought she was going to, revolutionize everything. She was an activist. She didn't care about anything. Stay away from activists or put them in their place if they get in front of your face. Do not allow them to do this. To your children, to your family, stop it. It's ridiculous. Because they're going to destroy your children's life. They're going to destroy your family. But I'm glad things were bad during that time of the Vietnam War when I was coming up. Kennedy got shot, assassinated, then the Vietnam War, all this stuff that was going on. And it was like, and my brother went in that Vietnam War and, he come back with some issues. And my dad had to sit down with him because my dad was an old military guy and help him through it. So, right. I mean, it's crazy. Oh, I am so sorry. I wonder if this will do it. Sherry's right. I forgot to put the automatic on. I kept looking. I see y'all were saying something, and I'm not seeing it on the screen. And dummy me, I got to write myself some notes. I hope it does it on the next one, that it automatically does it. I don't know if it will now or not. But anyway, just somebody give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let me know if it pops up. All right, let's see what we got going on. And like I said, it's sextile and Pluto. And what is Pluto? Pluto is about transformation. And this is transformation. You control your mind. Do not let others take power. Do not give them your power. Take it back. Do not let your children that are out there doing what they shouldn't be doing, find out what your children are doing. That's the problem. Parents have gotten to the point where I don't know when this happened, but it was like, I guess when video games came out, I don't know, but it was almost like, the Disney movies and all that, and on the DVDs or on the VHSs, and you could stick it in and put it in there and let the kid watch that or play the video games. As long as they were out of the hair, hey, yeah, it's doing it now. Thanks. Thank you for the hell yes. I didn't know if it would work after I got it going, but I'm glad it's there. But, it's anything to get a kid out of their hair. And then, it's I hear so much about people talking about their lives and how this is so wrong and that is so wrong. And all I can say is take control of your life and look at it and be honest. I had to do that. I had to look in the mirror years back from 2016 when my life began going to hell and look in the mirror and say, what is wrong with me? I loved my family. I was trying to do everything for them, try to help them in any way I can. And all of a sudden I'm a villain? Really? I'm the most horrible person in the world to them? So, no. So I went through hell. I went through mortal hell till I was finally crumbled. It took me finally crumbling to say, and just falling on my knees, crying my eyes out and saying, Lord, I can't do this anymore. I don't understand any of this. And this is where then all of a sudden I started getting into this and then that. and it helped me. It was therapy. This and tarot. Tarot started out as my therapy. Then astrology, is because I didn't understand certain things. That's why I read the tarot different. That's why I bring up the planets and the signs. I'm not just going to throw things down there and tell you what the cards mean. I'm going to tell you there's an influence in this card. If it's Mars, it's Mars. If it's Neptune, it's Neptune. I'm going to let you know this is how this house is being influenced by this particular planet or this particular sign. Maybe you need to devote yourself and look over there and see what it is going on in that house where that planet is. I don't read like normal people because I can't now, because my mind is awake. I just can't go out there and give you the sugar-coated candies anymore, and I'm not going to. And you can also see down here the ascending that I talked about in the lot of fortune. Okay, that's that part of fortune I was talking about right here, is conjoined. And this energy has to be here, and look where it's going to. It's in a square with the sun and also with Mercury. Influence. Love where you live. Love your country. Be proud of where you're at and the freedoms you have, because not everybody has that. And this is a very good opportunity on the 29th of the solar eclipse that's going to take place. And Mercury quincunxing over there to Lilith. Kind of put your foot down. Maybe some people need to put their foot down and say, enough is enough. I'm tired of this shit. I want to know what you're doing. What secrets you've been keeping? Because Lilith is going in Scorpio. Vesta is retrograde. You can see it right here. It's retrograde. Lilith is moving into it. There's a resistance to not let something out. You know, and I think we have like I said, I'm not a party affiliated at all, because I don't like labels. Don't put no labels on me. Like religion. Don't classify me as a Baptist or a Protestant or whatever there is out there, Catholic or whatever. No. I'm just a child of God. That's it. Don't label me. Don't put me in a category. Those are categories, people. Your faith is a freedom. Doesn't matter. Just like your politics, I can go one way or the other. It depends on the person, the individual. What are they like? What is their message? What do they do? What are their actions? Are they just using the politic words? Oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then they get in office and they don't do anything. Go look at if they held another office. What did they do there? I don't know. I guess I'm just different. I'm just so different. You know, people want to say, well, I'm Catholic or I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative. I don't care. To me, conservative is I save cans. I do things like that to go sell them, to put a little money in the piggy bank with aluminum. That's being conservative, but I'm not. It doesn't mean I'm a Republican. I find it hilarious. Y'all gotta laugh at this. I gotta say this. I am so glad to be spending time with y'all. I really am. I missed y'all so much. Y'all don't know. But I gotta say this. My coffee's cold. That's not what I meant. I wanted to say though. These people don't realize all these ones that are up in arms and throwing their this and that and the other. Donald Trump was a Democrat, had been most of his life. And all he did was run on the Republican ticket. And he had a message. But he saw himself as a Democrat. He believed in things that John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, you know, Reagan was a Republican. I mean, he agreed with those. He was an open-minded person. This is what you would call somebody who's a Sigma male. He don't care what you think. He cares about people. And they don't get it. How dumb can you be? I just find it hilarious. John F. Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard, Democrats sitting in a Republican administration. When have you ever seen this? Because they know where the evil is. They've experienced firsthand to themselves. They went through their challenges. They went through their crisis of what that party and those evil people had listened to them. If somebody tells you to go out there and commit evil and commit crime, what the hell are you thinking? Because they told you to do it? Jesus. I don't know about this generation. I really don't know. My generation wasn't that stupid. Let me tell you something. I was 16 years old and stuff like this. No. I mean, get it. You're going to pay the consequences of it. And this, like I said, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. And remember, they already announced what they had plans on doing. How dumb are you that you're going to go out there and you're going to commit crimes and you go out and tell the day you're going to do it? It's supposed to be this weekend, remember? You're hurting people that could lose their jobs. I know you don't care about them. You could care less about them. That's how dumb some people are. Yeah, and it's the whole thing. They ain't got no common sense. They're like the sheep. The way they wanted to do us. Put us in these things. Feed us right to the slaughter. And we have to wake. We have to stand up and wake up this generation and say, what are you doing? Where is your God-given common sense? I know we put that in you. Everybody's got it. Like my mom used to say, if somebody tells you go jump off the bridge, they're going to jump, and they want you going to go too? No. Okay, then. And these idiots go out there and they stop traffic, which to me is a crime. You're interfering with people's freedoms when you're doing this. Get out and grab them by the back of their shirt, because I know my dad would have, and the seat of their britches, and throw them off the road. Because apparently their parents are too stupid to do anything. I know y'all don't. They go, oh God, she's come back in fire. Yeah, I'm fired up because I'm so sick of it. I got my other channel thing, and I've been wanting to work on that and make that a podcast and put my feelings out there and my expressions out there, and I mean, me and my son, we disagree, but I'm fine with that. I can disagree with my children. I don't always agree, and they don't always agree with me. But at least I give them a reason why. And when asked their reason why, no, it's just because. No, it's not just because. You got a reason. So find the root of whatever it is that's going on. Okay? So anyway, it's time to move on. And now we've got the moon, like I said, I believe it was it's sextiling Jupiter, but it's squaring, it's still conjunct. It's in conjunction with the sun still, that new moon, that eclipse. It's only 3 degrees away from the sun. And it's challenging something here. So there is an ascending coming up here that can be very beneficial. Because these are going to be connecting with Mars. And people need to rise up. I'm not saying violence. I don't know. But they need to speak up. They really do. And they need to be honest about things. They really, really do. Because not only does Mercury is about messaging, it's about data, it's about really look at who you're getting information from. The one thing about truth, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about it, they do talk about truth, speaking the truth. We've been hearing that. But the one thing about truth, if you always are honest and speak your truth, your mind is sharp. It becomes sharper. But when you lie and deceive people, and then all of a sudden, well, I don't remember this, or I don't remember, your mind starts to go because you're living in somewhere that is not honest. And you never have to go back and say, well, I didn't say that, unless you're dealing with a dishonest person. When people make allegations against you. That I've experienced in the past. And I had to fight and say no and prove it and come with the data and come with the information. No, you're going to call me a liar. Here, boom, boom, here. Now what you got to say? And the one thing I've always tried to raise my children with, don't lie to me. I'm not going to lie to them. So don't lie to me. Because once you lie to me, I'm not going to believe anything you say anymore. I can handle the truth a lot better than I can a lie. So we're going to be dealing with this. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because it is so close to the end there. Now you got to remember these times that are sitting here, like this one being at 1731, this is my time, Eastern time. So you have to adjust your time from my time. Okay? Then what we have is this is when Mercury also goes back into Pisces and is going to come up and somewhat meet up with these two are going to be together. Mercury and Venus and Pluto. And it's going to end up being out of bounds. So plan on social uprising. I've got to say that. Plan on the emotions being dark, shadow. Plan on the weather not being normal. I mean, we're being shown signs from the sun and what's happening with it. This is why I don't fall for climate control. To me, it's a scam. It's a con. The sun determines whether we live or not. There's no way, and I don't believe in some of the science from the old, that, oh, the world's been here for billions and billions of years. Yeah, but we ain't been on it. Because if it's been here that long, where's all the people? And how many times have you driven down the road or went somewhere on a trip or whatever and you see all this open land? Where's the people? I mean, it's stupid. Wake up. Quit falling for everything that is going on. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. And I'm so glad. I gotta say it again. I am so glad y'all hung in with me. You know, I was over 1,000 subscribers at one time before YouTube shut me down. And y'all remember when that crap happened? Because of somebody. You know, they could have come to me and said something to me, but they didn't say to me. They ran to you. Well, you poor little whiny bass. Why'd you come to me and say something? I would have apologized. I don't have a problem. And that's another thing. I don't have a thing that Jasmine Crockett or whatever. She said, you know, about apologizing. That's not an apology she gave. I don't have a problem telling you I'm a grown-up. If I did something to offend somebody or I did something wrong and you come to me, I'll say, I'm sorry. I want to make it right. How do I make it right? No. What did they do? They went to YouTube and shut my channel down. And YouTube went along with it. So you tell me. My channel was growing. And now I'm back at the bottom, fighting my way back up again. And you know, and I went through some hard times. I've lost my best friend. I lost the woman that I worshiped, the ground she walked on, who raised me, who guided me, who had a heart as pure as gold. She is an angel watching over me in heaven. I know she is. And she's back with my father, and she's back with her son that she lost. And I know they are celebrating being together again. But I know they both are still watching over me. Because they know what my heart is. They know what I believe. So, anyway. Expect trouble. I'm telling you. Watch your P's and Q's. And remember that these two, the ascending and the lot of fortune, was down here. So it's done already moved up. And remember, I said these two stay, the ascending and the midheaven, which is the highest point in your chart, in your birth chart. Okay? They always stay about almost 90 degrees apart. But this is going to move really close. So something is coming up that's going to be good, but there's going to be a challenge here. And I think we have to stand up. And whenever there is this sort of confrontation thing at times, you need to stand up for what is right and what is true. And right now, with this midheaven as well, it's pointing over there too, with Mercury going back in there into Pisces. It's about healing, spiritual healing. We need to hang on to our souls and not let them be taken away from us. We need to hang on tight to the word. Truth, honesty. And Chiron is always about health. It's the health of something. Health of your soul, of your spirituality, the health of your family, the health of you, the health of your bank accounts, all of this. Be smart. And there is an opportunity, even though that Jupiter is in detriment, there is an opportunity to heal something here. If you need this spiritual healing, ask for it. You will receive, but it's in the time when you really need it. And you will be tested in your faith. Believe me, we all are. Because there's a kingdom that will be here on earth. And this is why our challenges are here. This is why we're being tested in this life. That is why. Are you going to be able to go into the kingdom as a liar? Believe me, or a dishonest person, or someone who's got a really dark shadow past thing that you haven't repented for? Always, every day, at the end of the day, ask for repentance every single day. And it will be given. Because sometimes we might do things and we don't realize that we've done something that we shouldn't have done. So it's time to wake up the soul. It's time to really wake up the mind. And there's an awakening coming, and there's a shaking coming. And it is now. There has to be. And the last thing we have here was Mercury. You can see right here with the midheaven, there's this quincunx. Oh, thank you, Judith. Y'all been my healing. Y'all don't know. Y'all have really been my healing as well. Just supporting me, being there with me through thick and thin. That's what you call true friends. Not those ones that are there and then they're gone. But y'all have even hung through all this time when it was, I didn't know if I was going to be able to hang on. But you can see there's the quincunx. There's going to be this point in your chart right now, the highest point where you're challenged right now with Uranus in Taurus. So it's time to get healthy in your life and do right. Get right. Time to get right. Check yourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. I've done it. I've looked in the mirror, said, hey, I can't go on like this anymore. You know, I used to always say yes, 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 yes. And then all of a sudden, you know, I was working at Mack Truck and I realized, hey, I mean, I finally learned how to say no. And it felt good and it felt powerful to say, they're two little letters. And there was so much power in them to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't help you. There's nothing I can do. And it was working in that job that helped me learn to stand on my own 2 feet. Because my values were being tested. And I didn't even realize it. There's things you're going to go through that you don't even realize that why you're going through this. Everybody always asks, why is this happening to me? Go look in the mirror. Be real with yourself and look at what is going on. And then you can answer your own damn questions. You don't need me to answer them for you. I had to look in the mirror and say, enough is enough. Why are you taking this? Why are you allowing this? Stand up for yourself. And if people don't want you in their lives, then say, fine. I'm not going to shed another tear. I've cried and cried and cried. I'm not going to shed another tear. You don't want me there? Fine, I'm gone. But you're the one that's going to miss me. And the people that I loved more than anything they started going through hell. They had all their little good times while they were doing what they were doing. But when I said enough is enough, and I quit, and I walked away, sometimes you just got to let go. And this is where you have to that surrender. Then all of a sudden the table turned. Things weren't going so well for them. The truth started coming out. Karma came back on them. What they put out came back on them hard. And they were the ones standing there crying. They were the ones there living in the darkness. And I was in the light. But by then, the damage had been done. And I suffered health-wise. And that's okay. I'll get myself together. It may take some time. But the good Lord will heal me. So Mercury's coming in. And look at it. It's 29:59. Now Mercury's now going to be out of bounds. And look what's out there. It's conjunct with Venus. It's conjunct with the North Node. This is all about your future. You better start reconsidering it. You better start thinking. You better start standing up. Use this noggin up here. Don't let it be influenced. Stand up for your rights. And if somebody's doing something wrong, tell them. You ain't got to be ugly about it. You can just tell them, no, I'm done. And you can turn around and walk off with a smile on your face. I don't have to deal with this anymore. As long as you have done right by everybody around you that you really care about, even to society, and you've done right by them, you've done the best you could do. So now let's get into this week. What is coming? I told y'all that this day, go back over here, look at the moon. April the 1st. Everybody says, April Fool. Bullshit. There's no April Fool here. This is all an emotional day. This moon is going to go through things emotionally because remember the moon is about our intuition. Think if something comes in your head, maybe you better look at it. Maybe you better think about it. What is your intuition telling you about something? What did I say? That this eclipse is a very spiritual time. You've got a messenger coming to you that's telling you something, and it's telling you through your intuition. That's how the spirit works. Meant for me, all my suffering brought me to my knees. I was able to rise. I see why now. Spiritual gifts came to me in abundance. Eyes are open. That's right, Judith. God will open them eyes and he will send a messenger to you, and that is the Holy Spirit, and it's your intuition. And if you get this thought, I used to often wonder, where did that come from? Why did I have that thought, that idea at that time? Because the Spirit wanted me to know something. He was sending the message. There was something he wanted me to know, something he wanted me to watch out for. If it was a person, it was like sort of like, watch out for this person. Something's not right here. Because I was going to that not too long ago. But I'm telling you, there is this spiritual thing that you're going to be dealing with because of this eclipse, the lunar and the solar. And it's going to happen 6 months from now, and it will be in September. You have an opportunity now with these eclipses, because right now with these eclipses where they're at, the lunar was at the full moon and it was in Virgo. Now, what rules Virgo? Mercury. What also is influenced with with Virgo, is Chiron, the healing. That was on 14th of March. Now we're going to have a solar eclipse on the 29th. And what is that in? That's in Aries. You're going to get a message. Hold on, I'll be right back. Sorry. I had to take a potty break. Too much coffee. Or maybe not enough. I don't know which. But anyway, you're going to start getting, your intuition is going to be heightened. Now, I look at the intuition as the Holy Spirit sending me a message. Now, what's particularly important between these two, okay, of it March and September, look at the Jewish calendar. I believe their New Year starts in September, and then it goes around to March. So there's something in there between this eclipse that needs to be dealt with. We're all getting the message of what needs to be done. Are we going to wake up and listen to it? Are we going to say, okay, I'm ready? And you know, funny thing too, I got to say this. I used to get ringing in my ear, just one particular ear, that's it. And I would go, I learned, because, you know, we're always talking about downloads and stuff like this. I hate to say that, but I would get this ringing in my ear and I would say, okay, I'm ready to receive. And do you know that ringing would finally go away? It would just, as soon as I said that, it was like you could hear the pitch going down and down and down. Message received. Now, you can say I'm crazy if you want to. Fine with me. But something's giving me a message, and I acknowledged it. So, think about it. So, let's focus on April the 1st. And on this moon that is sextiling, no, sorry. It's in a quincunx. What in the world? Something here is missing. Am I on the right one? That's a sextile. Okay. But it's got Mars there. This is like 6:14 in the morning. Remember, this is my time, so you have to adjust your times to it. You can go back and look at these, and you'll know when it's going to happen. But that's maybe it has something to do. Let's see what this one does. Did I? Yeah, I did it. I see now it's showing it's sextiling. That's something here in my, where's my, January, where is my, I'm missing my calendar that I had. I don't know where it is. Oh, well. But there it's showing it's sextiling Mars at 23:44. Oh, there it is. I thought I hit that. Lord have mercy, y'all. Remember I kept telling y'all in the readings that the moon was conjuncting Uranus? They were coming in together, that energy together. And I was telling you that Uranus is in a fall, but the moon is exalted. And look at the energies. This energy combined is something telling you something here. At the highest point, remember it said the cusp? I told you about that. I read that to you. That this usually is around the cusp of the 10th house. Where is it setting? Right there at the 10th house. And it's showing this opposition with Vista. But there's opportunities. But there's a resistance to the opportunity in your chart. Why are you resisting something? Remember we're all about that 10th house, but it's sitting in Jupiter. Jupiter's house. Jupiter sign. You want blessings, you want rewards, you want to live, you want to find that fulfillment. Here it is. Stand up for yourself. It's time for you to release something here from the past. And when I say release it, whatever you may be going through, whatever it may be, whether it's, you're going through something where there right now maybe there's no peace or whatever it may be that you're struggling with here. Like you maybe feel like, okay, nothing's going right and everybody's kind of attacking me and blah, blah, blah. This is the opportunity for you to have that, be that uniqueness person, to be unique like anybody else and say, no, nah, don't think so. This is your opportunity to have victory in something that's opposing you. Wherever that may be in your house. Because like I said, for this first week, all of it's going to be dealing with between Taurus and Leo. Is that moon hitting, bam, bam, bam. It's going to feel like that. It's going to be like, well, once I deal with this, then, then I got to deal with this next thing, and then I got to deal with this next thing. And it's all emotions. It's trials and tribulations, and it's for you to be different than anybody else. It's time for you to stand up and be a Sigma. Don't be a beta. Don't be an alpha. Be that unique one. You can do it. I did it. And remember, 23 degrees, things are going to kind of feel like they're out of bounds. And look at Mars. You're going to be dealing with something that's outside. It's opposite of you. It's an opposition of you. Somebody's trying to take away your peace, your happiness, your devotion to something. Your devotion should be to you and to the Almighty. Nothing else. And it's about your future. How you can change you and transform your life into something that is unique, that is rewarding, and fulfillment of happiness. I had to learn it all the hard way. It's time for you to be sort of a innovator of yourself. If you don't like the way you are, and you don't like what's going on in your life right now, check yourself. How can I make myself better? How can I bring peace in my life? Only you can do that. I can't do it for you. You can do it. By saying, if it's the two little letters, that's maybe the hardest thing in the world to say, because I know it was for me at one time, but I say it pretty damn good now. No. I'm not going along with your crap. You're not dragging me down there. Then it's all an emotional day. And then we have the sextiles going over here to Saturn. But it's combined with a lot of fortune. Look at that. 24, 24, 24. That is God Himself leading you in a direction to say, give it to me. Give it to me. Open arms. Look at the sextiles. It's like open arms out there. Give it to me. I will carry your burdens. I will carry what your problems are. Give it to me, and you go on and be happy. You go on and smile. You take care of you. I'll handle the outer forces. This is your opportunity for you to have that peace. Your Creator, the divine, will take on your struggles, but you've got to surrender it. And when you surrender it, you can't dwell on it anymore. Say, Lord, I give it all to you. I'm done with it. And that's it. It's over. Don't dwell on it anymore. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to do anything. Just let it go. And what I said about the South Node, it's where you have to secrete. You have to release it, surrender it. And that's a heavenly government. 12 is known as the earthly government. 24 is known as the heavenly government. And I'd rather follow those laws than to follow some of these laws. And what was it Christ said? I didn't come to change the laws. I came to fulfill them. And that's exactly what he did. And even he was an honest man and a man of peace, a man of teaching. And they criticized him. They crucified him. And we were told, you follow me, you might go through the same thing. And you will. But when you're that unique person and you can stand up and honestly tell somebody, that's a lie. I can't have you in my life anymore. Then you find the peace. Not at your doorstep anymore. And that's at 7:33 in the morning. Then we go, like I said, I don't know where y'all's times are. But now we have the moon in conjunct with Uranus. Don't let anybody dishonor you or try to take from you. Remember that Taurus is what your values are. Where are your values? Ask yourself. I value my soul. I value my peace of mind. I'd rather have a simple, I'm not going to worry about my home. I'm not going to worry about this over there. I'm not going to worry about that over there. I just want peace and harmony. And I want that surrounded me. I don't want my soul being corrupted. I'd rather live in that, the simple things in life. You can be, and the moon is in conjunct not only with Uranus, but also the lot of fortune. And what I told you, go back and look what I said about the lot of fortune or the part of fortune. Now, when I do the cards, every time I look at the wheel of fortune, I'm thinking of the lot of fortune. I'm thinking of the part of fortune. This is where you can find the peace and harmony. But what have you got to surrender to get there? The garbage that's in your life, the darkness, the past, the things that are troubling you. Quit dwelling on it. You'll never have peace if you keep dwelling on it. Put it in the hands where it belongs. More in depth. Okay. I'm so glad you were here this morning. It was good seeing you. Come back, baby. We ain't done yet. All right, now it is sextiling the North Node. I love you too. We're going to have to talk. I'll be free this weekend. All these sextiles are going to Mercury, to Venus, to the North Node, to Neptune. Neptune has now, at this time, has entered Aries. It's coming out of its rulership. Now, Neptune in Aries it's kind of, the waters get kind of warm. The emotions get warmed up. But it doesn't have any, any bad things in there. So it's okay. It'll do okay. It's just the emotions and that undertow. And it's going into this where you're fighting to get your way back out of something here. And it's about your future, where you want to head to. So this would be the great time with Venus and Mercury being retrograde to reassess, to reevaluate, to reconsider, to reorganize, to restructure. And then at the end, when you've gone through all that, the last thing you got to do is to reconcile yourself to something. It's going to be this way, or it's not going to be this way, but it's going to be my way. What are you going to put up with? What are you going to tolerate anymore for the future? Where do you want to go? What is the path you're on that you want to head toward? The next thing we have is the moon sextiling Venus. I told you, it's hitting every one of those. Plus, it's hitting Mars and the lot of fortune. It's time to heal. This is the most greatest time in the world to heal, to become that unique person where you can innovate and be your own invention, to be something else in life, to have a better life. Again, then we have the moon at 142. And it's sextiling Mercury. It's hitting these. I mean, like bam, bam, bam. All these ones retrograde. These are opportunities. Don't let them pass you by. Do what you need to do. Go after what it is you want for the future. Me is living a simple life and happy and laughing and just enjoying good friends like you guys and doing what I love doing. That's all I want. And yes, I have to spend a little money to be able to get things that work right, and but that's okay. I'm okay. I've changed so much since y'all haven't heard from me that is unreal. I'm in the process of reinventing myself again. And that's to my environment. I could care less what Joe Blow's doing down the road. Just don't cross me. That's it. Don't smear me. Don't come against me. Don't be mean and cruel to me, because I'll stand up right in your face and I'll tell you. I ain't putting up with it. The next thing we have is the moon. Then this is at 4:25, almost 4:30 my time, Eastern time. The moon then goes into Gemini. Now it's going to transit through there, and it's still conjunct with Uranus. It's taking it, bringing that energy with it. But it's going to disconnect. It's going to depart, because now you might know something. And it's also conjunct with the midheaven, the highest part of your chart. Go get your charts, you guys. You've got to have it. Know where that MC sits at in your chart. Know what the MC is. Know what it brings. It's where you can get success. And right now, the one thing you have here is you have the moon, emotions, your emotional world, your intuition. Something is ascending, coming up. It's a challenge. Are you going to hear the call? Look at the part of fortune, the lot of fortune. What is it conjunct with? It's conjunct with the South Node. The tail of the dragon. The past, the karma you've been dealing with. Stop dealing with it. Release it. Surrender it. Because if you don't, Pluto's sitting there. And that moon is in a trine to Pluto. And I'm going to tell you right now, with this over here, if you don't surrender that and release that, this right here is going to make your life a hell. Because remember, Pluto is the destroyer. It will tear things down and make you rebuild it. You can do it on the easy terms, or you can do it on the hard terms. You can keep putting up with it, or you can say, enough. Now, I've got an opportunity now. I'm ascending up. I'm rising. Look what your ascending is. I don't have your charts. I don't know. But I know there's an opportunity here. Are you going to rise to the occasion and surrender? Get rid of whatever that is that needs to be released, and stand your ground against something that's outside of you? If it's Somebody, okay, let's just use an example here. Somebody says, oh, I know a secret about you. If you're living an honest, good life and good values and all this stuff, you just stand there and laugh at them. Oh, yeah, what's that secret? You know, I need a good laugh today. You think you know something. Oh, do please tell. I like things that come out into the light. Share it with me. This is your opportunity. And the moon, now in conjunct with that midheaven, and sextiling Neptune at 0 degrees. See, they're all like resetting. Anytime it goes, it's like it's resetting. It's like moving from where it was now into a new environment, now into something new. Even though with the retrograde, you're still doing this reviewing, you're doing this reconsidering, this reorganizing, this restructuring. And this is the time for you to reconcile all that past and put it behind you. And surrender it. Move toward the future, what you want. You got to do the effort. I can't do it for you. The next thing we have is to come out of that darkness with that connection or that sextile to the underworld, to the undertow. The next thing we have is the moon and this conjunction with Lilith that we've been talking about. This is going to be there about probably all day long, but it's where you have to, and it's that conjunction with Uranus still, whatever's that outside, or wherever Scorpio is in your chart, it's at 0 as well as where the moon is, and Neptune, and Mercury, and Venus, and what's going on with them. All those sextiles going on. So, and that's around 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the afternoon, Eastern time. The next thing we have on this day is that moon. Now, it's separating itself from Uranus, and the influence now is Pluto. It's time for you to take your power back. It's time for you, because you're going to be going through something here, wherever Aquarius sits at in your chart, that's going to go through a change for the next 20 years. Now, I may not live to go through that all the way through for the next 20 years. I mean, you're talking about being 87 years old. Well, you know, could, but then again, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see, huh? Only the good Lord decides when it's time to come home. Now, let's go to the second. And see what, now this is going to be, we just went through a time of a lot of emotions. Okay? This moon hitting everything. Now, on April the 2nd, which is a Wednesday, and you can see up here, if you watch up here, in this area up here, you'll see that the next 24 hours is being ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules Wednesday. The hour that it has, get out of there. The hour it has is the 7th hour, okay, of the day. And what we have here is Venus. And it's the 6th day of the moon. So we're just going into this lunar cycle after that eclipse, solar eclipse. The moon's in this new cycle now. You'll know what day it is by what's up there. And this is on a Wednesday. What's ruling things is Venus retrograde. and the moon. Now it's sextiling the sun now. And it's conjuncting, and it's using that energy where Jupiter is in its detriment. And it's only at 16 degrees, which is a good thing. It's not out of bounds. It's kind of, settled in. But Venus is out of bounds. And it's challenging or squaring the lot of fortune again. Did you surrender? Did you take care of what needed to be taken care of? Because if you did, expect blessings to come in, maybe within the next 6 months, before the next lunar and solar eclipse. You got to do the work. That's the problem. It's almost like when a person wants to lose weight, but they're not doing the work to lose the weight. They're not changing their eating habits. They're not changing their sleeping habits. They're not changing their daily routines. You're not getting things checked on. Like with me, I had to, I asked the doctor, "You've never done a hormone check on me. Something's going on here." And it was. Next thing we have the moon now is conjunct with Jupiter. And look what is this energy in opposition or in a quincunx or an conjunct mean they're not working together. You have Vista there. Go back and look what I said about Vista. Retrograde. That means that reconsideration, reviewing, reconciling, reorganizing, restructuring, all that. This is where something needs to be reconciled. You need to deal with this, whether you want to or not. You can have victory here. Don't let someone else or whatever the situation is overcome you. You see what I'm saying? Don't give the situation or whatever's going on the victory. The victory is yours to have. It's an opportunity for you to bring something into the light. Bring the peace and harmony in. How do I do that? Surrender whatever the chaos is. Don't get in the disputes and the arguments and gossip and all this other stuff. Don't let yourself fall into that garbage. Time to clean the clutter out. This is how you get the victory. Bring something out that needs to be brought out. It's almost like, if you're going through something here very difficult, when you succumb to it, it wins. Instead of saying, I'm not going to let this thing beat me. I'm not going to let it control me. You have no power over me. There is no situation you have a power over. And there's no one that has the power over you. You can overcome this and have success and be at victory. And the next thing we have is Venus. Well, let's go back to the sun here a minute and see it's aspect in this. There's this opportunity of a blessing, of a reward, even though it's in a detriment and it's weak and it may be somewhat negative, or, you might be seeing something that's negative here, but it's really a blessing for you to see something. Don't repress it. Don't keep it down. Let it out. Let it shine. Go around saying, let a little light shine on it. Not me. And then now with this conjunct with the moon and Jupiter, you can have success over whatever this is. Who's trying to steal your joy? What situation is trying to steal your joy? The worst thing you can do is have things that are so deep down inside of yourself, like secrets and something dark or something that needs to be taken care of. Do it. Don't fight against it. Do it. Don't let it overcome you. And then the next thing we have Venus. So let's go over there to her little self in retrograde, in her underworld. And she's conjunct with the North Node. This is something about the future, where we all should be headed. And again, it's 26. Heaven's government. Whatever it is, will be taken care of if you're living. But Venus here is trying to keep it going because she's still in that underworld. She wants you in bad health. She wants you to surrender everything to her. No, I don't think so. She wants you to give up your joy. She wants you to give up your happiness. She wants you to give up your love, all this stuff. Surrender it to me. No, you can't have it. It's mine. Your values. She's like, don't let it go. Hang on to that. Or give it to me. No, I don't think so. She's opposing for you to release whatever this is. Because she knows if you release it, she's got no power over you. Oh, you know you want to buy that new pair of shoes or that new dress or whatever, but I don't have the money. Oh, we'll take it and stick it in your pocketbook. Nobody will know. That's kind of like where she's at right now. She's playing with your head. And it's like, no. And when she loses, oh, Lord, don't she get angry. And there's the inconjunct with the midheaven. Top of your chart has to do with Leo. And she's like in this trine with Mars. They're both in water. They're both emotional. They're all about, oh, it's about the home. It's about the kids. It's about the family. There's something dark here. I'm telling you. Ask yourself the question, why? Ask for an explanation. There it goes again. It's got to be YouTube. But it's dealing with the future. And it could even be so much as somebody not wanting you to change. Maybe they like the chaotic life or the chaotic situation. Is it buffering for y'all? Or is it still running kind of smooth? Because I got a feeling it might try and cut out on me again. All right, I got to get this done. All right, see, on April the 3rd, we have another day full. I mean, you got a day of rest, but here it comes back again. We have the moon sextiling Chiron. So we're going to deal with the moon all day. Look at the challenge and the oppositions. Something does not want you to give up something here, but you need to give it up, whatever it may be, because there's healing. You want healing? Well, you got to surrender. Next thing, the moon is squaring Saturn. Look at the squares. This is going to be a challenging day. Then we have the moon with Venus squaring it. I mean, this is a fight that you're going to have to stand your ground. And then we have the moon squaring the north node. Don't listen to those things. And we have the moon squaring Mercury. Then the moon goes into Cancer. And you're bringing all this stuff that is opposing forces against you, that's challenging you and challenge you and challenge you. But look at your midheaven. This is the highest point in your chart. This is something of a trials and tribulations you've got to work through. What are you going to do? How are you going to handle it? Then we have it even square in Neptune. The last thing we have on that day, and this is at 2020, I think it's 9 o'clock. No, it's 18:07. It's 8 o'clock, almost 8:30 in the evening on the East Coast. So it'll be earlier for some of y'all on the West Coast. But then now we got the trine to Lilith. You got to stand your ground. The biggest message with this is standing your ground, handling, facing these challenges and saying, okay, I can deal with this. I can let this go. I can move on from it. Now on the 4th, not quite as bad. We still have the moon now with Pluto. There's sort of this emotional thing. Maybe somebody doesn't like the fact that you've changed. Maybe somebody doesn't like that this or that about whatever you're doing. People like to control other people. And as long as you give them the power, you're screwed. But then there's the trine to the lot of fortune and to Lilith. You got to stand your ground. Sometimes I had to go around saying, Lord, Satan, depart. You don't belong here. You and your little minions, take them and go. You have no power over me. Get away. And you've got the challenge here with the square with Mercury. Or Pluto. It's Pluto. See, it's almost like getting sucked into something and you're trying to get yourself out of it. It's like you're kind of drowning in something here that you're not standing up against. You're resisting the change. You're resisting to take your power back and walk straight up out of that depth and come up on the shore. And I don't fight transformations anymore. I just let it happen. If it's meant to be, it'll be. But I know in my values and the way I am, it's not going to get the better of me. I can move on from it. Change is sometimes the best thing, but I take my power back. I have control over my life. Nobody else does. Next thing we have is Saturn. So let's see what Saturn's putting out there. Saturn's in conjunct. We have it in conjunct with Mercury and Venus. We have it trine Mars. We have it sextile in Uranus. We have it conjunct with Neptune, North Node, and the midheaven. Woof. It's time to really get. And then we have it in opposition to the South Node. So it's taking all that energy. And remember the 23.5, it's just a little out of bounds that you're going to need wherever Pisces is in your chart. And you're going to need to really lead yourself, govern yourself with the help of the divine, and say, Lord, just lead me out of this. Show me the path to move forward. Show me how I can restructure my life. Show me things that I need to see and things I need to know. You ask for knowledge, he'll give you the knowledge. I know I used to, still do at times. I don't understand certain things. Next thing we have is Mars. And Mars is trying Mercury, Venus, and Saturn. That's a lot of energy. And you got two of them in it's almost like something's trying to lead you away from something, of doing what you need to do. It's trying to take you away from something that's going to be beneficial for your future. And are you going to allow it to happen? Because Saturn requires responsibility, to be responsible and disciplined in what you're doing. You want change, you want a better life. Something here is trying to influence your mind and influence what you feel. And, oh, if you love me, you will do this. If you care about me, you'll do this. No. You have to be responsible for you. And you have to let the other person know you need to be responsible for you. Especially if they're a grown person. I'm not your mama. I'm not your daddy. I'm not your sister. This is what I am. And there's this challenge here to Chiron. There's people out there, I swear, when people are going through things, there's people out there don't want people to get healthy. They want you to be sick. They want you to be frustrated. They want you to be angry. They want to keep you in that turmoil and that chaos. It's up to you to say, no, I want a better life. I don't give a shit what your life is like, but you're not going to pull me down in it. I'm not getting in the quarrels. I'm not getting in the gutter. Sorry. Now we also have Mars. Go back to Mars for this one over here a minute. We have Mars. Like I said, it's sextiling Uranus. And it's time for you to now take the initiative. Ask yourself, what would Jesus do? How am I going to be judged for this by the only thing that matters? Tell me what I need to do. How do I handle this? And believe me, you've always got time. How do I heal from something here? Let this cycle end, whatever it is, because 22 to me is a cycle. It's time to heal. Then we've got Mars trying Saturn. Remember, I said it's trying all this. You can see it right here. It's something influencing the future. And you have to take responsibility for something. You have to be disciplined. No, I'm not giving up. This is what I want for my future. And that's the way it's got to be. Don't settle for anything. Know your value. Never settle. Don't overvalue yourself, because you kind of cheapen yourself when you do. And if it is, you'll be found out. So make sure what your value is. Know what you're like on the inside, what you value, what's important to you. Sometimes there's things you've gotten property-wise that you can live without it. You don't necessarily need it. Things around your home, well, I can get rid of this and I can get rid of that. You know, there's always the next best thing coming along sooner or later, right? And then the next thing we have is the sun. We'll go over here. The sun's squaring the moon, but it's conjunct with Chiron. So it's showing you there's something here to heal. And there will be a reward and blessing. if you change what you feel, if you acknowledge how you're feeling. That's what a lot of us need to look at. Why am I feeling this way? It's your emotions running control. Well, maybe you need to get them under control. What is it around me or in my environment that's making me feel this way? Like maybe there's a duty I have to do and I'm not been very disciplined or whatever here, and I have to be disciplined, to do this. Staying up too late at night is not a good thing to do. But then there's sometimes I can't sleep. Why? I don't know. I guess my energy level's up. But there's something here with a square in the moon. And it's trying to show you that you need to heal something here. You need to maybe give yourself a little attention. Take care of you. Like, I was just thinking this morning when I came in here, before I got started, I was like, I'm gonna give myself a treat. I'm gonna give myself a facial. I feel like I deserve it. Put a little face mask on and all that, and take care of me a little bit. I haven't done that in so long, and I think I'm overdue. Now on the 5th, we got the moon. Oh, where we go? The moon is square in Chiron. Again, something here. You need to take the initiative. You need to take the action. You need to have the drive and the ambition to take care of something that needs attention. Whatever it may be, maybe it's you, but just with this Mars energy, you need to act upon. What is unhealthy, you need to remedy it in your life. Because like I said, Chiron's all about the health of a situation, a happy life, a healthy life, whatever it may be. And again, there's that sex, just like it's screaming that you'll release something. I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe it's well, not right now. It can't be an ego thing. It can't be something in your identity. Could be, because it is in Aries. Could be an ego thing. Maybe you have an unhealthy ego. Because we're talking about something about your appearance as well. And I just said something about giving myself, I just realized something. I'm talking about giving myself a facial. And, I need to take care of me. Sometimes it's so simple that it just goes right over your head. I know there's some other things I need to get done. That's why I was doing all the readings at night, because I needed to do things during the day. And then I can sit here and relax and do something I enjoy doing before I go to bed. But then it winds me up, and I'm all wound up now. So wanting to hurry up and get to the astrology part. Now, okay, we got the moon that's sextiling Neptune here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Uranus. Sometimes the icons with my vision looks like one thing and this another. So it's sextiling Uranus. Remember when it was conjunct there? There's something here that with Chiron that was maybe something unhealthy. Because remember, maybe it's your spending habits. Like I said, it could be something so simple like that. Maybe it could be something you ate. It's something that is like not putting you on the right path. Maybe you're not making that change that needs to be made. You're resisting it. Get it done. Don't procrastinate. It's 24 degrees. The moon is at 24 degrees. Again, we're talking about divine. And again, it's a sextile to the south node. What are you not putting in the divine's hands? Why is it you're not trusting something here? Do you not want to be healthy? Do you not want to have a good life? I can't make you release it. And it's conjunct with Mars. And it's saying, hey, you want this to come real easy? Give it to me. Surrender it. Let it go. You're struggling with letting something go. And only you can figure out what that is that you're hanging on to that you will not change. I just don't know. We also got the moon trine with Saturn. Then it's going into conjunction. It's still in conjunction with Mars. It was already starting. It's had an influence for you to take something. It wants you to take the initiative. It wants you to be ambitious in this. Get it done. Remember what I said in the tarot? That these houses are where you're going to be focused in this week. Your second house, your third house, your fourth house, and your fifth house. These are important for some of you. For others, it was partnership, relationship for others. And I think it was what? What was the ones I said it was? Where's my phone? That was in, I can tell you right now. There it is. Let me bring it up. For those that are dealing with relationships in these houses here, with Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. The rest of you, Pisces, Libra, Virgo, Leo. It could be something in the environment. I would say Aries. Let's put this way. Aries, Pisces, Aquarius, and maybe, no, Aquarius is dealing with that seventh house. It's relationship. Aries, Pisces, Taurus, and Gemini. You guys are dealing with mainly something in yourself and in your life and family, home, these sort of things. Taurus, again, the self, I said Gemini, didn't I? Yeah. Cancer, Leo, and Libra, and Virgo, you're dealing with something in the environment, something outside of you. So you get this straight now? Okay, the 4 signs. We'll go over it again one more time. Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius. You're dealing with something in relationship. It's within your family life and your partnership or relationships. Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. You're dealing with something that's about you. Okay? Your life, something about you. And something you need to let go of with you. Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Libra, you're dealing with things that are outside of your control. So why would you hang on to something here that's out of your control? It's something within your environment, something within society. Why you even care? So that lets you know where the focus points are at. You know who's dealing with relationships, you know who's dealing with family life, and you know who is dealing or what areas are dealing with society and your environment. Okay? So now that we got that cleared up, the next thing we got the moon, still conjunct with Mars, is now trying Venus retrograde. It's time to reconcile something here. It's time to work through this, whatever it is. But if there's something you need to cut out in the home or cut out in the emotions in yourself, get rid of it. Reconcile with what it is. Admit something. Take the responsibility for something. If you're overspending, if you're not doing something here, whatever it may be. I mean, there's so many things. I've even found sometimes where I've seen things in here that I'm like, it just had something to do with something so simple. I'm like, why didn't I deal with that? Why did I let that go this long? The next thing we have is trying the North Node. All this last part between and then these are East Coast times, so you have to do it yourself from 4:35 all the way up to 6 o'clock or almost 7 o'clock in the evening on the East Coast. You're going to be dealing with something here that's going to be kind of easy that you can do this for the future, that has to do with Venus and Mercury in that retrograde that needs to change, that's affecting you emotionally. You need to take this action. Okay? And that's my time. So between 4:30 and 8 o'clock, that's 3.5 hours, you need to do something. You need to take the initiative and handle it. Now on the 6th, the final day, we have the moon. Now it moves into Leo, okay? And it's in opposition with, it'll be in opposition with Pluto for a while. It's still sextiling, or it's, it's trying. Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Neptune, North Node. These are all the ones that is trying. There's one challenge here that has to do with you standing your ground. Something you really want to be devoted to. If it's family and it's dealing with, I've got to do this for my family, then I'm sorry. I have to do this for my family. And this is right after midnight. You know, it's like spending time with family. This is on a Friday. No, the 4th is on a Friday. This is on a Sunday. This is when you kind of got to get things done for the following week. So that would mean for me, it would be trying to get all the tarot done for the second week and do the astrology for that second week. I've already got the first week done, basically, when I'm done with this. And then I know what my responsibilities are, my duties are, and I got to discipline myself, do what I got to do during the day, and then start doing like I did this week to get you prepared for the first of the month and what's going on. So, and then on that day, I can, like the weekends, I want to spend time with my family, with the man I love, doing what we got to do. I don't want to be working all 7 days a week, catching things up. If it takes me just 4 days to get all this done, hey, good. That's 4 days I can dedicate to that in the evenings. And then after that, from Friday on to Sunday, that's for me and him. Then we also have the moon trine. I told you about the trine with the North Node. All that is trine. And it's still conjunct with this energy. And there's sextile here. There's opportunities if you take them. Oops, sorry about that. There are opportunities here in this lot of fortune where you can get fulfillment if you do what you need to do. If you take on this challenge, if you do it, if you make the change, if you know that something's changed, take your power back, take control, take responsibility, do what you need to do, and get it done. And then we also have that is now squaring, which we talked about, Lilith. Standing your ground and saying, I'm going to get this done. You can see it doesn't change a whole lot, but the sun, there's some sort of thing you're struggling with here, finding the peace and harmony. You've got to schedule yourself in your life to do what needs to be done. So you can reap the rewards of something here that all of a sudden things just seem to get better. If you take the responsibility, discipline yourself, know you need to reconstruct things, need to review things, reconcile those things you really need to take care of. And you surrender whatever it is that is beyond your control. that you have no power over. And let me tell you something. Even if you're in a relationship, believe you me, you don't own that man or that woman. They are not your servant. They are not your slave. Be kind to them. Show them respect. But you also have to demand the respect. As long as you're doing right by them, then they should be doing right by you. But you don't own them. You cannot control them. You cannot tell them what they can and can't do. Women have to be, a lot of times, the voice of the masculine or the man's mind. Is that really the right thing to do? It's the way you put it to someone. Like the man I love him to death, but sometimes it's like, why do you do that? You know it's not healthy for you. And then I let it go. I don't nag, I don't bitch, I don't, I'm just here as that little voice that says, hey, I love you and I care about you, but that's not good for you. That's not healthy. But it's your choice. What can I say? And he takes that better than if I'm saying, you don't need to eat that. You don't need to have that. No, you can't go over there. He goes every morning to breakfast with these guys, and they meet and they sit around and I laugh at them because I turn around and say, oh, y'all solving the world's problems? Did y'all come to some answers today? And he'll just laugh and say, no, but we're trying. So make life, enjoy that person. Find the humor there. Something you can both laugh about. But don't let something steal your peace and harmony. And it used to be sometimes, he'd be out there in the world and he'd come in the door and he'd be angry about something. I'm like, what in the world is wrong with you? Go outside and wipe your shoes off and whatever that was, leave it out there. And then he'll just, he'll a few minutes and then he'll start talking. So he'll enlighten me about what's going on. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Next thing we have is we have the moon, and it's conjunct with the lot of fortune or the part of fortune. And it's in opposition to Pluto. Something here you're not doing. You're not putting your foot down and taking the initiative and the action to say, no, I want this to change. If it doesn't change, it can, Now I'm looking here. Remember I said about Mercury, they were talking about, but they said it would go direct on the 7th. Okay, this is the 6th. No, look at that. Oh, I'll be right back. Okay, back. Where's my tissue? The nose is dribbling again. The moon is conjunct with Mars. There's something here that has to change, that you need to change. You need to take the initiative and stand your ground on something. I don't know what it is, but it's like there's an opposition to change here. It's like, What, you don't want a good life? You don't want that fulfillment and that happiness? Well, it's showing you two things here that you're challenged to do. To change. Oh, and I was talking about Mercury. They've got here that Mercury is supposed to go direct on the 7th. But look at the S. It's going stationary, what they call the shadow. A planet doesn't go direct and then just starts moving. No, it takes a little bit. It'll sit there for a little while before it begins to move. It's at 26 degrees. And I'm going to talk to you about this. It's at 26 degrees. On the 7th. Okay? It doesn't really begin to move until the 10th. It moves 1 degree on the 10th. It'll sit there for 3 days. That's what I said. It sits stationary. It's building the energy up to move. And then it'll move that 1 degree and then it will be direct. So it's actually going direct on the 10th. Okay? And it'll be at 27 degrees for 3 days, and then for a couple of days, and then it really starts picking up speed. And then by the 17th, it's done moved into Aries. So it's, like I said, planets, they sit in the shadow for a little while. They have a shadow period before retrograde where they just sit there stationary, and then after retrograde, they'll sit there stationary to build the energy up to begin the moving. Okay, so don't always believe that when somebody says, oh, it's going direct on this certain day. No, it's going stationary on this day. Okay? Now, the next thing that we have is Venus trying Mars. So let's go to Venus and see what other energies there. It's trying Mars, but it's in opposition to something from the past. So it's like it's opposing to surrender something. Why do people fight letting something go? What does it serve hanging on to something? It's weighing you down. It's controlling your life. You're not making change. And through change becomes innovation. Right or wrong? Am I right or am I wrong? It's through the change that you make. And this is Venus being in trying Mars. And it's almost like it's easy. Do it. Just do it. But Venus is retrograde too, so you got to kind of be a little bit careful there. Because now Venus knows you're going to start thinking for yourself. You know there's something you need to change. You know now, maybe possibly this is what I'm saying is the truth. Through change becomes innovation. Through change can become abundance. Through change can become happiness, fulfillment. And then you start finding it. But you got to be willing. Like I said, happens all the time. So, and then Mercury, like I said, I told you it would go starting next week. We'll talk about that then on the 10th. Not next week, because that's the week, 2 weeks from now. Yeah, on the 10th of April, it'll start moving. And you'll start like, okay. Because at 27 degrees, yeah, you're getting out of the muck, out of that darkness. You're pulling yourself out of these emotions that you're going through. It's time to, okay, look up. Time to come out of that. All right. So this is what I got for y'all. I've already been on here for Oh, it was 3 hours. Jesus. I'm getting to be like a podcaster. So anyway, that's the end of that. I'll be doing my thing. I will be back next week. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays to do the readings. And then on Thursdays, I'll get the astrology done for that week. Okay? So for that's going to be for the next week. Okay? So that's kind of the scheduling program I want to get. I'll be on in the evenings, so you might want to let somebody know and share that with them and let them know that, hey, this is what's going on. That's my game plan. That's my goal. Did you get that done? Okay? So y'all take care, and thank y'all for coming in, being with me. It's good to be back with my friends and enjoying with y'all and having a good time. And all. Sorry about that. And enjoying being with y'all. And I'm just so thankful to be back. I'm really looking forward to this. I can't wait to start my move and my new life. I'm really waiting for it. I've got one more thing to deal with tomorrow, Friday, and then after that, I'm free. I'm free. I am so free. Thank you, Jesus. I'm loving it. I'm gonna be loving it. And then I just have to wait till September, and that will be the final closure. 9/9. That's the date. 9/9. 18. That's like a whole new beginnings, new life. All of it. I'm ready. I am ready. That I gotta remember that too, because like this eclipse, remember the degrees of the sun and moon with this eclipse, and on the 29th is at 9900. It's like a reset for me. And then the finalization of everything is 9/9 in September. Wow. Is that a message to me? Makes it kind of, I'm always, every time I see something and I go through something and I look at this and I see like a message or something there, and it's like, all I have to do is just say, God, you're awesome. You got an awesome God. And I'm so blessed. And I love sharing the blessings with everyone else. And because I know you can have this too, and you can come back at me and say, oh, I'm so blessed, and you can tell me what happened, and it's wonderful. And we can share in that, and I can be excited for you that, hey, this is what's happening for you. Awesome. I mean, I love to see people learn something new and learn how to change, and then, and see them grow and remember when they were like this, but now look at you now. I get excited for people. And this weekend when I go, I told somebody, I forgot who, I think it was Jen or somebody, I said something about I was going to take a video, try to do it live, show you the new, and show you around. But if I can't do it live, then that's all right. I'll record it and then I'll come back and share it with you. Okay? So y'all take care, and I love y'all. Mwah, I love y'all. God, if I wish I could just hug each and every one of y'all. Okay. Y'all take care. You're the power. You got the power. Deal with it. Do it. You can do it. Bye.